All right, hello, welcome to the American Dream podcast. This is episode 6, and once again, we'll be talking about our lives living in America. And I'm here with,
Mario Lopez.
I didn't say my name, but this is Daniel Bischoff.
Yeah, didn't.
That's funny. So today we'll be talking a little bit more about food, sharing our experiences coming from different countries, eating certain types of foods, and then coming here, not really realizing that maybe access to certain ingredients that we used to cook with back at home would be available or not. Adjusting to it, I guess, a different lifestyle of eating certain food items more than others. And then also dive a little bit more into access to healthy foods in our community, because Mara and I both lived on the north side of Columbus, pretty close to Westerville on the border.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing right before we started this episode how every unhealthy fast food chain is about 5 to 10 minutes away from where we live. And if you need to go to a grocery store to get fresh produce, you have to probably drive 10 to 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
About.
There's like stores that sell more healthier options like Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a Raisin Rack.
Yeah,
It's almost similar
shopped.
like that one.
I've shopped there a couple of times.
I believe Trader Joe's also does that.
Mm-hmm. The Trader Joe's, and that one's
There's one in Easton.
Easton Mall, yeah.
And then I actually don't know if there's another one somewhere.
The other, I think there might be one in Dublin, but maybe.
Oh, no. I don't know, because I usually don't go out to those areas.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly just stay in this, maybe around like Polaris or Easton.
Right. So, I mean, I guess there are some similarities I have noticed in certain food items that we eat. You know, as you know, I eat a lot of rice, and I'm sure you've had your experience eating a lot of rice. And recently, I've been eating a lot of like black-eyed beans, and I know it's like very common in your culture to be eating a lot of beans as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of type of beans also.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know how many there are, but we don't. Mainly, we just do the black beans and pinto beans.
Okay.
And we really don't go on to the other ones, but there's other ones also that are part of like the normal diet, I guess, for a Hispanic or a Mexican, because other like Hispanics have variations of how they make certain things. But before I came here, I actually don't remember what type of food or diet I was on. I know we drank a lot of coffee because it was fresh. We have a little bit of land in my mom's village. Not my mom, my grandma's village. And we have a lot of plants, fruits, and we grow our own coffee. So they pick it out and then they wash it and then sort of do the whole process. I don't actually know the whole process, but I guess they seed it or something. And then they grind it.
Do they sell it? Any of the extras, or it's all?
I don't know. I think we might sell like the bean or the coffee bean itself.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. But mostly, we just use it for ourselves, really.
Right.
And since we're not there, my grandma always sends, so we don't really go out and buy coffee. So I think. I don't know what that brand is. It's like a red bottle, I think. Forgers, I think. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, there's that one, but my mom gets like the acid reflux.
Okay.
And she gets it a lot when she drinks that one. So she doesn't drink that at all, or even any other ones from the ones that they sell in stores. We just drink the one from basically our homegrown one that my grandma sends.
Right.
And then, I mean, there were stuff that I used to eat like chicken legs.
Yeah.
But now I don't even.
Like not, or you talking about like the feet?
Oh yeah, the feet, yeah.
Like chicken feet.
Yeah. The feet, I don't know. I think they would make it in in some sort of like soup, and they
Mhm.
would add it inside.
Right.
But now to me, it kind of looks disgusting now.
Yeah. I mean, we also eat that. So I'm from Ghana, and we also, but it can go in a soup. Sometimes we put it in a stew. I think I just stopped eating more of it because it was more of a bony part of the animal more than like
Yeah.
fleshy part and meaty part. So I was like, well, I don't really want to be nibbling on bones, honestly.
Yeah. And then I know there's like I don't know if it's like a corn or something,
Hmm.
but it's like a long sort of. It looks like sort of like a tentacle or something like that, but it has like little like sort of like corn things. I don't know if it's like baby corn or something.
Okay.
And I think it's like a white color, and I would eat those a lot, but now I don't eat them at all.
Right.
Really, there's other stuff that I used to eat and didn't eat anymore while I was here.
Hmm.
One of them was avocados.
Okay.
For some reason, well, my mom says that I used to eat a lot of avocados.
Hmm.
Then I came here and I didn't. For some reason, I didn't like the avocados.
Here.
Yeah, but
Okay.
now I eat them.
Right.
But there was a certain like period where I wasn't eating
Right.
any of the avocados at all, or other certain things that I used to eat.
Hmm.
That
I grew up eating avocados a lot, mainly because where I lived, I believe my father grew an avocado tree, like really inside that, like on the land we had a couple of trees, and one of the biggest trees was the avocado tree.
Oh, okay.
So we just had access to like unlimited avocados. My neighbor had a mango tree, and that was always just like fortune fruit. So
Yeah.
we just everywhere, like a lot of homes in the neighborhood I was living in back in Ghana would have fruit trees. And so sometimes when a lot of the people that own the trees, whenever they had like excess fruits, they would just like give them to their neighbors. And sometimes there are moments where neighbors would share or give each other different fruits because they all grew different fruits in their houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of a cool experience. So, and they were like completely organic when I think about it, because I didn't coming here, I didn't really even know what GMOs are at some point until we learned about it in school.
Yeah.
And that just brings out, or can open up a whole kind of worms.
Yeah.
Like as far as like understanding that certain actions are taken, for example, to try and produce a lot of food, which
At a fast rate.
But in fact, it also includes a lot of unhealthy toxins and unhealthy ingredients that they use to make the mass production, which is affecting a lot of people living in America who are addicted to eating fast food.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time during high school when we would focus on that.
Right.
We even went to, I think, like after school,
Yeah.
a little class that
Yeah. Arts.
it was
Arts
Wexner Center
Yeah.
for the arts, and we were taking art class.
Yeah.
But they talked about a lot of GMOs and then other environmental stuff that unfriendly stuff that we talked about, sort of like pollution and stuff like that. But we also touched on GMOs and how that stuff affects our lives, the animals' lives,
Right.
and then just
even the land area, because of how much changes are going, and with the mass production of food, more land is being used for the production of food over anything else, and so and even more places are getting destroyed to become farms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think it's good that there's other farms that are starting to realize how things are like in the ones that are more mass production, where they have animals, a lot of animals in a close proximity of each other.
Right.
They don't have any room to move or do anything really. And they are sort of slowly stepping away and having like free range farms and stuff like that.
Right.
And that helps a lot to protect the animals and not have them suffer, because they probably do suffer and they don't have their freedom of going out and in the wild and getting feeding on like the nature and and just being free.
I know it's such a interesting perspective because I mean, I think it's just funny because I think I listened to one comedian who was talking about how he didn't really care if the chicken that he bought was free range or not, but if he had to pick, he would like to pick the chicken that suffered the most because it probably tastes better or something like that. Something along those lines. But in sense, there are a lot of companies that are in the food industry that are really just, I think, are so consumed about making money that it is they put things in place to even argue against the fact that like what they're making is having a negative impact on a lot of people's lives in society. I think that those people that own those companies that make all the fast food chains that have all the addictive substances have a good idea. They pretty much know what they're involved in, and I just think it's just it's disappointing to know that like this information is out there, but nobody knows it until like you're taught about it, or you start having any interest in like what you eat. You don't really know where your food comes from until like you actually somebody tells you or you look into it, and then when you find out where it comes from, it gives you a lot of perspective and a lot of I guess it makes you think that a lot of things in society are just controlled by certain people, and sometimes you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, as growing up, I never really knew where everything really came from or how it was made.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think in middle school, I saw the Super Size Me.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So Super Size Me is a movie about a guy that was consuming McDonald's.
Oh wait, yeah, I think I'm confusing it with Food Inc.
Okay.
Food Inc. is actually the one I'm thinking about. Actually,
okay. What is
that one? Was about really where you're getting your meat from most of the time, and how it is for the animals there, and what is really the process that they take. And you see a whole bunch of animals just in a closed shelter. Mm-hmm. They're not even outside. They're just inside this building, all smushed together, and all like just blown up into like they get as much meat as possible. Really,
yeah. You can see chickens that are almost oversized.
Yeah, there's these chickens. They can't even walk. They're just
huge.
Yeah, and then their legs are all like broken and stuff, and they really can't do anything. Mm-hmm. They're just there because the weight is so much, and a lot of the GMOs that they put in, they sort of just use the animals for food and to mass produce it and to bring out the most quantity, even if it's not the best quantity or quality.
Right.
It's just the more the better.
Right. The quantity over the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's a documentary and it talks about all that stuff. There's like a cow that you see and it has like a giant hole on the side of its body, and all you see is the sort of like junk it has inside, and it makes you realize how most of the stuff that you're eating is produced this way. But even I've seen it twice already, and even if I look at it, I still sort of have the same diet or
Mhm.
buy stuff from the same place,
Mm-hmm.
even if I know that this is how they're being produced. Because I really can't.
Right.
There's really no way to go out there and pick out a chicken or something like that and then kill it myself and stuff
Right.
like that.
I think what they're doing is breaking down a lot of, they're getting rid of a lot of like decisions or actions that you might want to take towards your food and making it even more simple. So instead of you having to put any effort into looking and reading about what item you're about to pick, they make things pretty simple. They don't make you really think much, and they want you to just like buy, versus like having a good understanding of like what you're buying. They want you to just be able to just buy and be out. And I think that's a great marketing strategy, considering that if that's what they're going for and they've been really successful about it. But I mean, once again, I just have, and I think you understand too, of just the issue of that, how consuming too much of it can be just like harmful. But even after the fact, I think also that I have been thinking and reading and experimenting with different type of diets and starting to learn how to consume certain foods more than others and see how they, how my body reacts to them and how I can function. Because my job is very active, and so I need to be able to be feeding my body foods that will give me the ability to stay more active than anything, and then foods that will be able to give me energy, strength, and then be able to help me restore or recover from a long day.
Yeah, and I think stuff like that, I think everyone should experiment with different diets.
Mm-hmm.
Not every diet works on the same way with every person.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on you yourself really experimenting how you are and seeing what's actually working or if it's working.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe there's something that works even better. And just trial and error, basically.
Right.
Just to see how you're feeling and see if it optimizes your life instead of not really having any other change.
Right.
As far as like the fast food that you were talking about, it's mainly just easy access for everyone, really. Mainly if they work really early and don't have time to make breakfast, or if maybe they just get a half-hour break and they just want to stop by and grab something really quick,
right.
And then that way they have a chance to go back to work.
Right. So it's almost like a two-sided argument. Somebody can argue that this food is horrible for you, but then somebody can also argue how having access, like easy access to these things, can make somebody's life a little more simpler.
Yeah, and I mean, there's plenty of arguments with eating healthier and choosing unhealthier stuff. One of them is the price, really. You go to like a McDonald's and you can spend like $10 and get everyone a meal from the dollar menu for multiple people. But if you go to sort of a more organic options, like Whole Foods, then maybe $10 is just gonna get you like half a meal for just yourself. But I guess you pay for the quality of the food, really, because these things are grown at our organic method, and people are out there picking it out and then transporting them and
evaluating the quality of it before.
It's basically you're paying for something that's of a higher quality. The same with shoes or technology. The price you're paying for is what you're gonna get. And I know a lot of people are probably not as financially stable as others, so they have no choice but to go with cheaper options.
Right.
But even with that, there's still ways that you can incorporate certain things or take out certain things that sort of affect your body a lot. The main ones are really sugar and salts, and not to consume too much of those.
And fake sugar.
Yeah, mainly sugar, really,
Yeah.
because it's basically like a drug
Mm-hmm.
that is accepted by everyone, really,
Yeah.
and it's in almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan is really on, like, picky about that.
Mm-hmm.
Tries not to eat a lot of sugar.
Right.
And he said I forgot what thing he was eating. And it was something that you would never guess would have sugar in it. But he said one day he just looked at the box and it said it had sugar in it. But it was something that if you would just bought it,
Mm-hmm.
didn't look at anything,
Mhm.
you would 100% be saying, this doesn't have sugar at all.
Right.
But he checked the box once I guess he was already purchased it and stuff like that, and was already consuming it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realized that it had sugar in it. But yeah, almost everything has sugar in it. It's something that releases that dopamine in you,
Yeah.
and makes you want to have more.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of that in the soda
Yeah.
and juices and stuff like that. Even the own fruits have their own sugar, and that can be also harmful for you, even if it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to lower your consumption of those things to live a healthier life. I know, like, money is mainly the main issue
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of people. But I think there's things that you can buy out there that aren't probably organic or
Right.
stuff like that, but just change up the diet. And I know it's hard because you're probably used to having a certain diet
Yeah.
while growing up, and it's hard to
Yeah.
fix that.
It is. I think it's sometimes if it's even more challenging, considering how like busy I am going in and out of the house most of the time. So whatever is being cooked with my parents is usually what I eat. But I've been trying to get into a habit of and I drink a lot of smoothies, but recently I started just like putting the fruit and like the frozen fruit in jars, and usually when it's like hot outside, I'll just like take a couple bites of like some fruit in the middle of like either a lesson, or if I'm like leaving from the private club to the country club or back and forth. I just try and snack on something, and I've been noticing that I don't know, I just like enjoy eating it that way a little bit better, mainly because like I guess I'm seeing what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And then also it's kind of refreshing considering how hot it is, so eating like pretty much cold fruit that was sort of frozen, it's like been it's been really good for me, mainly because usually I'll just like not eat at all, or I'll just drink water all day, or sometimes I'll just like stop at Chipotle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just been getting to just like these small habits, and I've been seeing a lot of difference already in like my energy level throughout the day kind of stays consistent.
Oh, okay.
And I don't feel like tired or like fatigue and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that in the near future, I think cooking was probably going to be one thing that I start learning to do a little bit more, mainly because I want to get into a habit of getting a little more consistent diet, considering I want my body to be functioning a certain way consistently. I want to make sure that I'm always having enough energy before I do any type of activity on the tennis court or after when I go home. And just being aware more about certain habits that are not helping me either stay a little more active, or like certain habits that are kind of getting in the way of me staying on top of just being disciplined. You know what I mean? Just being disciplined on eating well and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm talking about that is that when I was in college, I kind of didn't take eating well seriously. And as an athlete, it's something that I didn't realize has a huge impact on my well-being. Because I thought I could just like, in a sense, get away with just eating regularly. But then I in the back of my mind, I should have realized more that like I'm an athlete. I can't just eat like steak and shake at 1 a.m. and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
that's what I would be doing.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we'd go to like Wendy's and get 4 for 4s and go on late night runs to Canes, Raising Canes and stuff like that. So thinking about it now, I'm just, there are so many times that I could have made a choice to eat well and I just didn't. And so those like consistent bad habits in the past have became a challenge at some point to break. But I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of self-independence to be able to just be like, I'm not going to eat that, and I can be fine with it. Whereas before, it's really difficult to turn down certain things, mainly because of like how I've eaten it so much and then gotten addicted to it before I have learned more about what's in it.
Yeah. I mean, during college, a lot of people gain weight, and
Yeah.
I don't know, what was that saying?
The freshman 15 or no?
Yeah, was that right?
Yeah.
Where you gained 15 pounds in
Yeah,
freshman
where
year?
you gain your 15 pounds once, like, guess the first semester in your college experience. Yeah, it's real. I mean, I've seen people who just gain weight, and so, but cafeteria food just makes it easier because there's ice cream, there's brownies, there's cookies. There's like all these things that you can eat, but there's also the salad bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, but no one goes.
I mean, I think there are a fairly good amount of people that were going to the salad bar more than I was. I would just see them and just walk right past them and get some ice cream or brownies or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we
But
had
that
that
was the old
experience
me.
in Kenya while we were there.
Yeah,
They really had good food.
yeah. So
And a
it's
lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of
There was
options.
just stuff to play with everything that you liked.
Yeah.
Then once you were done, probably get like desserts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with that culture there being more accessible to certain things that are probably unhealthier, and also seeing a lot of people that maybe don't have self-control, and even if they have an option to have a healthier diet, they tend to go to the one that they love the most,
Right.
even if they know that all these other stuff are healthier
Yeah.
and better for them, but they always tend to just go for what they love. At work, I mean, I'm constantly surrounded by food, really. And sometimes if it's busy, I really don't eat. And usually when I work, I would just eat when I come back, really. I would get my free meal and then get here at home and then just eat, and then
So you're
I would
pretty
eat
much
until the next
fasting
day.
like all day.
Yeah, usually I started more now, just they have like a daily soup. And now that it's not as busy because of the pandemic, so there's only 50% capacity. So even if it's full, it's not really busy. But I have more time to just eat the soup. And then you can grab bread. They have the wheat bread and then sourdough. And then usually if I don't like the soup, I would just make something like really quick, a sandwich. But I wouldn't use white bread. I would use wheat. And then, or I would make a quesadilla or something like that. Something that's easy and fast to consume, really. Just to get me by through the whole entire shift. That way, when it's time to get my free meal, then I'm going to just eat that and then practically not eat anything else the rest of the day.
Right.
Unless for some reason I don't get full. And it's mainly when I bring like a salad home. So I would just cook up a salmon and then make my own salad.
Oh, nice.
And have that. But sometimes it wouldn't be really enough. So whenever my mom makes something or she already has something made, I would just go down and have some of that late at night, really.
Do you ever cook, or does your mom usually do all the cooking?
My mom cooks here. I really don't know how to cook, really. I know
Like
some stuff,
yeah.
but there's like this stigma, or I don't know if it's a stigma, but so the girls or women are the ones that cook and not the guys.
Right. Gender roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my
Mm.
mom just cooks everything really, and she loves to cook, so she doesn't really have a issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she always cooks the stuff she likes, and I like most of it, but not all of it. Or sometimes if there's something that I want,
Mm-hmm.
she'll just cook it up real quick, and then
That's funny because it's like the same setup that I have, where my mom doesn't mind cooking at all. Actually, she enjoys cooking, and even in my house, both of my parents love cooking. So, like, I could easily ask my mom or dad to fix something up for me if I really don't have the time to, or maybe sometimes I'm just too lazy.
yeah,
But the reason why I had mentioned that is because um, there are certain. I think that there are certain things that I used to eat, and I thought I would be able to be fine to just like function on them, on like just playing tennis, and then I'll eat it, and I'll just be on the court, and I feel like a rock because I can't move.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There's so many things that I've learned about food, and how it impacts your body physically and mentally. Um, that I would strongly encourage a lot of people to learn more about what food groups or what certain fruits or vegetables that they could start eating or start incorporating into their meals, because they're um, not receiving enough nutrients to handle certain issues in your body.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I've learned a lot about how certain food groups tackle certain needs that your body have, as far as like having enough maybe iron or something like that, and how different iron levels in your body can change how you feel and certain things like that. So I think that people should start learning to eat really well, mainly because if they don't eat really well and they get sick, then their money is more, I guess, invested in medication
yeah.
versus prevention.
hmm
And yeah.
What is your diet right now?
So right now, I usually, and if I'm consistent enough, I try to wake up in the morning, and if it's during the summer, I usually don't drink tea, but in the winter, try and drink some tea in the morning because it kind of warms me up. And then, if I don't have like, sometimes I'll make a smoothie the night before or the day before, and then I'll drink like a leftover in the morning, or I'll just wait till later on in the afternoon, and then after I break it fast, like I'll just eat some fruit.
Okay.
So I've been eating a lot of fruit. Rice is just like a given. So, but I've been trying to cut down on rice more and start eating more beans and plantains, because I started realizing that I break those foods down faster, and also I don't really feel slow or heavy after a while because they just break down a lot faster.
Okay.
So that's mainly those. That's what I've been eating, and then drinks. Like sometimes I'll drink some sports drinks too, just to get some electrolytes. I like drinking. Like I really, because I grew up in Ghana and I went to the beach sometimes. Like coconut water is something that I enjoy drinking a lot.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I'll like buy some coconut water. Sometimes my dad will go to the store and buy like a big box of like coconut, and he knows how to like crack them open with the chef's knife, which is really, there are certain things that my dad can do. I'm just like, dude, you might have to teach me how to do these things. But
yeah.
no, he just bought a box of coconut, and there's probably like 15 or 14 of them. And in the morning, he puts them in the fridge, and in the morning he just cracks one open, and we just like enjoy coconut water in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those are mainly a lot of the foods that I've been eating. When I do eat out and I'm working on eating well, I try to get some ramen. So that's why one day I'd asked you if you had ramen before, because the broth is really good. It has the soup is really good for you because of the ingredients.
Yeah.
And the ramen is delicious. But so sometimes I'll try and get some ramen. I used to go to this restaurant called Sela. It's a Japanese and Korean restaurant, and we'll go there, and sometimes we have sushi, and I pretty much fell in love with sushi after getting sushi from there. Like, I think they have like the best sushi I've ever eaten. But now, because of the pandemic, they're not making any.
Oh, okay.
They're not selling any sushi because I think that they're concerned about the source of their fish for their sushi. So we would go there and either we get sushi and like fried rice, and that's really good. But apart from that, I don't really go anywhere else except recently. I've been going to Los Guachos a lot, which is a Mexican restaurant, and we go there. We'll get, I think, 2 Fridays ago, I got like 9 tacos from there, and like it's just delicious. I just enjoy eating a lot of like food in general. But for the most part, it all depends on what I'm trying to accomplish with my body. So if I really don't have to do a lot of physical activity, or I'm not trying to work on making sure my body is right, then I kind of eat something else. But I don't really eat fast food.
Okay.
You never see me like stopping at McDonald's in the morning, honestly.
No, I don't either.
I wouldn't go.
I'd rather not have breakfast than go there.
Yeah. I don't get the only place I go that is, I guess, fast food would probably be Chipotle. Like, I don't eat Wendy's. I don't really eat Burger King. I don't eat Rallies. I don't eat any of that. I don't really have the time, and I kind of just like have hated the smell of it because the smell is so strong, and it just activates in your mind. It's just like, this food smells really good. But then I realize how horrible it is, and I'm like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah. I still, from time to time, go to fast food. There was a time in high school, they would pick me up, and literally every time they picked me up, they were like, where do you want to stop by to eat or grab something? And it would either be Wendy's or Chipotle. And I don't know if Taco Bell was in. I don't know. I don't remember actually. But I know for sure Wendy's and Chipotle were there. And since they would pick me up every school day, then almost every afternoon I would eat that.
You eat fast food?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I could tell I gained weight during that time. But I mean, I liked it, and I know it's bad, but it just tastes so good, so why not?
Right.
But I mean, if I needed to, I can just stop, really. And with those like sort of little, I would say, like goals, or sort of something where I would let go of something for a year.
Yeah.
Then I figured out that I have much more self-control over the things that I'm able to do. So while I took bread out of my diet.
Right. For how long?
A year.
Oh, yeah.
1 year. And I lost a lot of weight.
Right. How did you feel like your body was functioning without?
I actually don't know.
You don't? Okay.
No. So during those times, when I would sort of not eat something or not do something, I wouldn't really see much change, or I don't think, because the reason I was doing it was not to see some sort of change within myself. So I don't think I focused on it too much.
It wasn't about. It wasn't a diet. A diet, or you're trying to accomplish a health goal. You were accomplishing a mental goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't any health-wise. So while I would go to work, there was this guy that would say that he noticed I lost weight. And then I would tell him I'm not eating bread, so maybe that's why I'm losing weight.
Right.
And then they ask why I'm in a diet, because I don't look really that unhealthy or that fat. And I will tell him I'm not doing it I'm not really on a diet.
Right.
I'm just trying to see if I'm able to do this.
Right.
This is just a little
mental task. Yeah, it's the long mental task.
And then like the losing the weight part, that's just something that came with it.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but that really isn't my goal. And throughout the years, I mean, I gain weight, lose weight
Mm-hmm.
constantly.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I had lost 10 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and they were making fun of me because I looked thinner. And I could tell I looked thinner, even like in pictures and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then during the pandemic, I just weighed myself like a few days ago. I just gained those 10 pounds back.
Right back, baby.
Yeah. So I don't go over or go too low with the sort of my weight range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mainly because I really don't change my diet that much, or even if I do still eat fast food,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an everyday thing.
Right.
I mainly eat stuff from work really right now, and most of the time I grab a salmon, and then I put maybe some vegetables, and then a little bit of rice and mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if I'm tired of that, I do the salad. And then maybe if I don't want that, then I sometimes go for like the burger.
So you.
But this is more quality burger, and the ingredients are a higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like eating a fast food,
Right.
but it's still like an unhealthy option, I guess. It's burgers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not really that healthy for you.
Right.
But I see it as a sort of a higher quality in product,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the Cheesecake Factory, so they tend on focus on having more fresh ingredients
Mm-hmm.
and making stuff fresh every day, and making sure it's the best quality. Not for us really, it's more for the customers, so they enjoy the best that they can really get,
Right.
because it's more of it's not like fancy, but it's a little bit more expensive than like a regular
Burger.
a restaurant.
A
No,
regular-
like
regular
a regular, yeah, like
yeah.
a restaurant that you would typically go to.
Right.
But yeah, so even like their pastas, I sometimes grab some, but I don't really finish all of it. There's times where I do just sort of pig out, and I would eat multiple things.
Just
One
go
time
for
we
your own
went,
food.
yeah, we invited some people to the cheesecake, and I tried a new item, a
Mhm.
shepherd's pie, I think.
Shepherd's pie.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's literally, it's just like burger meat with green peas, carrots, corn, I think. And then
Is it grilled
it's sort of it's like
or baked?
they like, it's the ground beef, so
Mhm.
they just chop it up in little bites
Mm-hmm.
and then pour it into the plate all with the vegetables and stuff.
Okay.
And then on top they put a layer of mashed potatoes.
Okay.
And then it's basically, I don't know if you tried meatloaf.
Yeah.
It tasted almost like it,
Okay.
but it was just a different method of plating and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I ordered spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
And I literally ate everything, and the plates are big too.
Right.
There's times, but when I do eat like that, it's literally just once a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I eat that much one day, and then the rest of the day I won't eat anything else.
Right. Right. So you'd say you eat more work cooked meals than home cooked meals.
When I work, yeah, but sometimes I've been working there for like 4 years or more than 4 years, so you get tired or don't really have much choices to pick out from, because I mean, I've been working there a long time, and I haven't tried everything, but the stuff that I like, at some point you get tired of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that good that I would eat it every day.
Right.
There's certain things that I'm able to eat every day
Mm-hmm.
because they're that good,
Right.
but I really don't enjoy it that much.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I just don't even grab anything, and I come home and my mom already has something made, or if there isn't anything made,
Mm-hmm.
then she just, like I said, just cook something real quick, and that's my meal for the day.
Right. Right.
So yeah, my diet just basically consists of eating once a day mostly. On my days off, I just in the morning maybe drink a bit of coffee and then a piece of bread. So the Mexicans they like the
Do you
bread a
sweeten
lot.
your coffee, or do you like your coffee unsweet? Like,
So the way we make our
how do you
coffee,
prepare it?
so we use the grind coffee. We put the water to boil. Then we pour the coffee in. Then we put sugar. And then cinnamon.
Cinnamon?
Yeah.
Mm.
Not powdered, but like the little things that are like branches or I don't know.
Oh, the sticks,
Yeah,
cinnamon sticks. Yeah.
Yeah. We put a little bit in. And then that's it. It's not, you really don't taste the caffeine as much. It's mostly sugar, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like it when it's unsweet. And then I don't like it when it's hot also.
Do you ever drink tea or just
I've drank tea before, and it's not really something that I drink a lot, or it's very rare. I know we tried chai tea,
right?
Mova Hill.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that tea, actually.
Yeah, that was good.
And like in Starbucks, well, it was hot, or not hot, cold.
Cold.
I would go there and grab a chai tea. A chai tea latte, I think. But other than that, I mean, coffee is mainly the thing I would drink in the morning. But just our coffee, not other people's, or from the restaurant has coffee. There has been times where I drink it because maybe I just wanted to drink a little bit, but mainly I just drink from home.
Right.
I warm it up a little bit and then have a piece of bread. Mexicans, they like eating their bread. I don't know if you've seen the different types.
I have not learned that much.
No, so yeah, there's a lot of types of bread. There's ones that are conchas. It's basically a round bread, and then on top it's sort of like a shell shaped.
Okay.
And it's like sweet things that are sugary.
Okay.
Those are very popular. There's like little horns. They're sort of like croissants, kind of, but they have a different taste. They're not they don't taste like croissants, but they have the shape of them.
Right.
The churros.
Yeah. I've had churros. Yeah.
There's different options, with fillings, without.
Right.
There's other ones that are shaped like little pigs, and they have a unique taste. There's like so many types, and not everyone has tried all of them. I know there's sometimes these little like breads that are giant, and they have like sesame seeds on top, and those are very popular with like people from Oaxaca, because they grew up with that type of flavor of bread, so they enjoy that a lot. And then with coffee in the morning, that's mainly
yeah.
And then, but now recently, I mean, I got the protein shake, and I use it as like a little like morning snack or something like that, just to get me through maybe 3 or 4 hours at work while I do like my morning prep, and then get a little bit of time to have something to eat.
Right.
And then from there, just whatever really comes in.
Yeah. I mean, food is such an important thing in everybody's life. I think that when we look all over the world, food is one thing that makes a difference when you have access to it. And learning more about food just makes me have thoughts about like the future, like when I eventually have kids, and how I want to raise them and have them necessarily eat certain foods over the others, mainly because of how much I've learned now.
Yeah.
I'm certain, like, I feel like I will personally make sure that they don't eat a lot of sugar. You know what I mean? Mainly because of how many kids that come to the tennis club, and sometimes I would ask them what they eat, and just to get a good sense of like what they're consuming in their diet. And a lot of them don't eat really well, but they're kids, you know what I mean? So it's it's not the idea of your body, I guess, hurting as like hurting from eating bad or not functioning well from eating bad isn't like a full concept that they've grasped yet. I mean, I remember when I
Yeah.
was that young, I feel like I can just eat anything and then just play tennis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as you keep getting older, you start realizing how your body functions, and that brings me back to what I was saying about in the future how I know that when I'm raising my kids and having a family, I think we'll be experimenting and learning how to eat certain things more than others. I think for sure I would allow my kids to experiment and have a taste of what fast food is,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot to learn about understanding how to control yourself when you're exposed to those things. And I think that it would be wrong for me to never let them try it, because I think that if I never let them try it and they try it, they might just prefer that and then be like, well, we never tried it before, but now we want it all the time. Versus having them experiment and try fast food, try really healthy food, try these vegetables, try these fruits.
Or even with drinks like the sodas.
Yeah, and sodas, and just get them to understand what's in it, and then make them understand that also that they can start engaging in certain things or certain behaviors that can just help them in the long run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that if I was a father, I would wish for my kids to be living well and growing up really well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are realizing more of how they want fresher stuff.
Right.
And a lot of people in the future might change how things are made. Or maybe it'll just keep getting worse. And yeah. But, I mean, for myself, I'm also with the same idea. And I want to have like a little bit of land if it's possible. And have my own animals, really. Get my own cows, pork, and grow my own fruits and vegetables. That way, I feel like it's more... the food tastes different when you know how you've already grown all your crops or raised an animal, and then the whole process of it, killing it, and then basically consuming it as part of your diet. You know how the things were made, where they came from. I think
you feel a connection to it too.
Yeah, there's some sort of connection you have with all those things, and during the process as well. And the food, I mean, I haven't done it, but I'm assuming the food tastes different because you know everything about it.
Right. And it's fresh.
Yeah, and it's fresh. And there's really, I don't think a better feeling than that, because all these other stuff, they're just stuff that you don't really think about. You just buy them and then cook it.
Right.
And then maybe sometimes they don't even taste that great.
Right.
But it's good to have like your children or something like that always be aware of these sort of options, and then be introduced to other options as well, because at some point during their life they're going to be exposed to it anyways.
Like
even in school, because schools sometimes don't even have the best lunches.
Yeah.
They just have these crappy little foods that really don't do much. And it's always good, I think, to teach your kid how to cook. That way, if they have some sort of thing that they want to make, or while they're growing up, they can purchase these things. Or you, even if when they're young, maybe they want you to buy them certain things, and then you cooking them healthier options, or even packing their lunch, which I think is an issue with parents probably. Sometimes they don't have time in the morning. They probably wake up late.
Yeah.
And then they don't have time to themselves eat breakfast, so they can't really pack a healthier option for their child rather than eating the school's lunch.
Yeah.
But it's good to expose them to a variety of diet. I don't like those kids that are really picky about eating certain things that they don't really, maybe like eating broccoli or something like that, and then whenever you cook it, there's really like the kid doesn't want to eat it, so
Yeah.
but that's the only thing that was made. So what are you gonna do? Not eat anything at all? Or if we're invited to a dinner and then they make something that you don't like,
Yeah.
well,
I
are
know.
you gonna eat or not?
I didn't realize how much of it, to an extreme, a person can be about being picky about eating. Because I've always enjoyed food, and I wouldn't say that I'm a picky eater. There are certain things that I wouldn't eat just because I don't like the taste of it. Then that's probably about it. But like if I had to eat it, I would just eat it because I know it's food.
Mm-hmm.
I can get over the fact of the taste not being so delicious
Yeah.
if I'm hungry. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I think that's something that even moving from Ghana and coming here, I like even like food allergies was something that was like I didn't realize that a lot of people had certain allergies to certain foods.
Yeah,
'Cause I
me
was
working at a restaurant,
Yeah.
there's like so many allergies that I'm like, really, this is a thing?
Yeah.
I mainly work on a salad station, and then there's one ticket that pops up and it says a lettuce allergy.
What?
I'm like, what? Why are you ordering salads if you're allergic to lettuce?
Yeah.
But they wanted kale, and that was interesting. I was thinking to myself, is kale a lettuce? So why would they want kale? So when I came home, I looked it up and I realized kale wasn't a lettuce. It's in the sort of like family of broccoli.
Oh.
And I found that really interesting. So I mean, in a sense, I guess they really knew what
exactly
they could eat
yeah.
because of their allergies. But yeah, a lot of people have these like gluten allergies and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't have any allergies that I know of, but yeah, it's really interesting learning how all these people have so many allergies.
Like, did you know, things. Like when you were, I don't know if you can remember, but did you ever remember at some point if you knew any people back in where you were living in Mexico that had food allergies?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so no. I can't either. Like I get the nuts part. I get because of, I don't know. I guess I get it more because of the oil, or the ingredient of just like the nut itself. But
yeah, I never even knew of allergies really.
Yeah, I didn't know about any of them at all until I think I was giving food to somebody and they were telling me that they don't eat that, and I was like surprised because I'm like, I know every single kid in the world that would eat this right now, and you wouldn't eat it.
Yeah,
yeah, and then it's just like, but it's that's what I'm saying. It's like moving here, I've learned so much. I've learned that people just have consumed different foods for so much that their bodies are, I guess, generationally getting used to eating certain things more, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just all based on parenting, really. Mm-hmm. You're just raised a certain way, and then if you're introduced to certain things once you're older, maybe you're not really in tuned to change how you were eating already. I was a little bit picky when I came here. And then now working in the restaurant, I'm not as picky really anymore. I mean, like burgers and steaks, I would always eat well done. Mm-hmm. But then I tried medium.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I've tried rare. I think I've tried medium rare. And I've tried those, and I see the difference in flavor and how juicy it is.
Yeah, and juicy, yeah.
Yeah, and it tastes even way better than well done. So I don't get well done at all anymore.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are really too picky on like the blood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think at a certain point, it's not the blood that you see really. It's more like a sort of a substance that the steak releases.
Okay.
That adds the flavor to it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not really picky anymore with stuff. I've tried sushi, but I haven't really tried like the raw sushi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm picky a little bit on that.
I might have to introduce you to that sushi.
Well, actually, don't introduce me to sushi because one of my family members used to work at the Kona Grill at Easton. Okay. And they were more they sold sushi there.
So more seafood, or no? Or
It was
just-
more like a sort of a Asian
okay.
kind of type. They had Asian flavors. I
Mhm.
don't know if it was an Asian restaurant, but they had Asian flavors or Asian menu really,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a sushi bar, I think.
Yeah.
So the guys there making the sushi,
Yeah.
and then I don't eat it constantly, but I was craving sushi, and I told him to grab me some, so I ate it, and then he brought it again because I think he assumed I wanted still, and I ate it. It was like a really spicy one,
Mm-hmm.
but it just upset my stomach that day really bad. That
Oh.
since then I haven't eaten sushi,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's like those stuff. There's just certain times where I really crave it
Mm-hmm.
and I eat it, and then I'm fine for like a little while.
Yeah.
But maybe I might try. I don't know if you have like a place, but
Well, the place that I was going to recommend doesn't make it anymore, like I said.
oh
because
yeah,
of the
you're right.
pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Even us, we don't sell. We used to sell like a tartar,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's called like a tataki.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a seared tuna with some spices, but we're not selling that anymore, and I don't think we're gonna sell it anymore. I think they took it off the menu. But yeah, maybe
At the cheesecake,
yeah.
Yeah.
So all like the tuna things are taken out.
all the tuna items are out.
Yeah. They still have the salmon. There's branzino. I never heard of that,
Mm.
but
How is it that you've mentioned their salmon a couple of times? It must be really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's salmon. Really good. It's fresh. Not all the time, but well, it's all the time fresh. But when I mean it's not fresh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that it's probably been sitting there for maybe 2 or more days
Okay.
in the station, so it's not really like the freshest.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's mainly my favorite item there.
The salmon.
Yeah, there's the blackened spicing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of it.
Mm-mm. No.
I actually don't remember how it's made, but they make it there, the spicing,
Mm-hmm.
and I put that on the salmon. It tastes really,
It was really good.
it
Yeah.
tastes really good. And
Salmon. I consumed a lot of salmon. I would say during the pandemic.
oh yeah,
Because one of my coworkers at the private tennis club, that hopefully will be getting on the podcast soon. He enjoys a lot of cooking.
oh okay,
So during the pandemic, we would always go grocery shopping, and he's actually taught me a lot more about he's encouraged me and also exposed me a lot of information about where the food comes from, what's in the food, and what foods you can eat versus others to optimize your body. So he would cook salmon a lot, and they're like salmon steaks. So they're huge and they're thick, and they were like always delicious. You know what I mean? And we'll go to Saraga, which is an international market.
Yeah.
And we'll go there and get fresh fish, and we'll just grill it and have some. And he eats really healthy, so we eat a lot of mushrooms and onions.
Yeah, mushrooms. Are really
Mushrooms, onions, and we eat some rice. And then we just have like a huge piece of salmon with some salad or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. That I never really ate that much fish.
Yeah.
Well, before I worked,
Yeah.
but pretty much everyone that's worked there knows that I'll probably order a salmon to go. And it's the station is literally right next to it. So whenever I'm close to ending my shift, I just go by, open a drawer, and pick out a good salmon.
Yeah.
If it's not there,
Yeah.
then I go to the side cooler and see if there's fresh. And I used to put salt and pepper only,
Mhm.
and then they used to have one that's
Already
the
spiced.
huli glaze.
What does that mean?
It's a little like sauce,
Okay.
and then you put it in a saute pan.
Okay.
And
I
then,
thought that was the name of a salmon for a second.
no, it's the huli salmon. Yeah,
Oh, it is the salmon.
yeah. They used to have that on the menu,
Okay.
but not anymore.
Okay.
But there's a miso glazed salmon, which is more sweeter.
Okay.
But that one had a little, it was still a little bit sweet, but it had some sort of like a spicy flavor to it.
Right.
but they took it out of menu, so I really can't make it. And then I tried putting blackening on it because I saw a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there were times where people would order that on their salmon.
Request that,
Yeah. So I tried it once. I just poured the seasoning on top, put it on the grill, and then on the other side, put it up. And then once I finished cooking it, I just squeeze lemon on it, a lot of lemon on it.
Yeah.
And it's fire. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't realize you made your own steak. I thought you would order it from salmon. I thought you were going to order the salmon from whoever's working that station, and they usually make it for you. I didn't realize you had access.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone knows how to do the stations, but sometimes if it's not busy, I would go and tell them, how do I make this? I want this as my meal.
Yeah.
And then they will show me, and then that way, the next times, because sometimes you never know, they might be busy and you ask for your staff meal, and they're busy, so they don't prioritize yours. They prioritize the customers,
right?
And they don't make it. So instead of like bothering them, I just do it myself.
Right.
So I mean, since I've ordered it a lot, I know how to make it,
right,
and then how to cook it good,
right,
where it's not overcooked or undercooked. And then my sides are really always the rice and mashed potato. The rice is just bland.
Yeah.
It's just
unsalted.
It's just regular white rice with no flavor.
Yeah.
And so I try to make my own chipotle rice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put a little bit of oil, cilantro, a little bit of salt, squeeze the lime. Just
I mean, it sounds like you're learning how to cook all the time.
Sometimes
at work.
But the main reason is because I have access to all these ingredients, so why not? At home, I don't really have all these equipment or a good grill, we just have this stove.
Right.
But I don't have access to all these stuff, so it's kind of hard to make. Or maybe if I want a salmon, I don't even know where to get a salmon.
Well,
so
you can go to Saraga.
Yeah, I've seen Saraga, but we mainly just get sort of like not chicken, but sort of beef, and like the beef chops or something like that to make a stew or something. But that's mainly like my mom that does almost all the grocery shopping, and she just buys whatever she knows and what she needs to make certain foods for the month, I guess. But yeah, and steaks, I mean, I can't order them as a staff meal, so
really?
You can't order steaks or shrimp.
What?
Because I think they're the most expensive items, so
yeah,
you can't really grab them. Sometimes if you help out a lot, or if it's not if you were just supposed to work one shift, and then the next shift they maybe ask you to stay because someone called off. They might give you the manager's meal, which the managers can get steak. So
nice. Yeah, I was just about to ask, what do the managers get if you're not?
Yeah, so you get one item really from a staff menu. Okay. You can't order everything. I know there's an item like chicken and biscuit, but that's a big plate.
Okay.
So you can't order that one for a staff meal either, even if it's chicken. As like pastas, you can't order the dinner portion, just the lunch portion. But I mean, we're buddies there, so we're like, just do the dinner size, or add this, or we tell them just add some shrimp in there, and then they hide it underneath and put the pasta over. Yeah. So they don't realize.
Right. So
there's this guy that takes literally a ribeye steak every shift, and we know we know he steals it, and we always call him out, and it's funny just to mess with him like that.
Yeah.
When I think it was 2 days ago, there was fillets, and they were, I think, expired for 1 day.
Yeah.
So the kitchen manager just told one of the cooks to cook them and then make them fajitas with the fillet. And then the guy that steals the steaks, he said, he told us to give him one, and we gave him one fillet.
Yeah.
And he said, "Actually, give me one more."
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you.
And then he gave them back, and we were cooking them, and then the kitchen manager comes and counts them. He's like, "Wait a minute," and yeah, there was 8 here. Where's the other steak?
Yeah,
and then I know he just whips it out from underneath. He had it the whole time. It was supposed to be 8, but it was he only had 7 on a grill.
Why?
And then later that day, because I worked a double, and I saw him as he was almost leaving, he made a ribeye steak. Yeah. What were you going to ask?
I was just going to, you've already been talking about it, but the atmosphere. I wasn't sure if it represents anything that I've seen in like restaurant, I guess restaurant TV shows where they're like cooking and you see the behind the scenes of them on the grill and stuff like that.
Like Hell's Kitchen?
Like how similar is your work atmosphere to that? And
to what, Hell's Kitchen?
To Hell's Kitchen, and does Hell's Kitchen just? I'm sure it over exaggerates certain things.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a chef that's yelling at you.
Okay, make me a goddess.
Yeah, or so I guess when it's more upscale like that, they work a ticket system.
Okay.
Where it's actual tickets. So he comes and literally yells out to the whole entire kitchen what the ticket is.
Okay.
And each person has to know when they're gonna, how long it's gonna take, what item they need to make, and then it's called orchestration, I think. So everyone has to be in sync and know when things are gonna come out.
Okay.
So if someone is doing sides, they have to know when the meat is going to be ready. That way they don't
cook the side
too early, where it cools down and isn't the same sort of temperature as the meat. So they come in together and then sort of give him the food, and then he just examines them and then sends them out.
Right.
Here, it's different with every restaurant because every restaurant is either smaller or bigger. But the Cheesecake is pretty large. So they have, I think, 6 stations, I believe. So there's a pizza and sandwich station. They make pizzas and sandwiches, and it's considered as one station. So you have 2 screens and do the pizzas, sandwiches. Then there's the salad station where it's just salads. Then there's the broil station where you cook steaks, burgers, the salmon.
Yeah.
Then there's the grill station grill fry station where you make
burgers.
No, you make some burgers, but not as much as the broil station. You make more like cheesesteaks or like there's a Cuban sandwich. There's like fried like fish and chips or tacos. And then there's the fry station where it's all fried, everything. And it's mostly, it's mostly appetizers.
Okay.
Small items. So that station is really busy because a lot of people order appetizers. Then there's the saute station where it's just like the salmon or like
stew.
Not stew really, but sort of like specialty items where it's salmon or certain like there's chicken Madeira. What else? It's mostly like stuff that requires a lot of use of a saute pan.
Okay.
Then there's the pasta station where it's just
pasta.
Yeah, everything is just pasta. And they have a large pasta menu. So
for instance, if a family walks in, parents and kids, maybe 2 kids and parents, and then the parents order, I guess they order their own steak each, and then the kids order small sandwiches. So if that's on the order and the master chef
or Hell's Kitchen. So it's the Hell's Kitchen. So the waiters or the server.
Yeah, the server
has goes to one of the screens. There's a lot of screens located throughout the restaurant, and then in the back of the kitchen. Yeah. And they just look for the order, I think. I'm not really sure because I don't know how their view of it is. They input it, whatever their order is, and then it's already like programmed, so it just goes to whatever station it's supposed to go into.
Okay.
That's where it differs.
So nobody's walking into the kitchen double door screaming.
Yeah, no one, or even just yelling out the order.
Outdoor. Okay.
Yeah, it just shows up on the screen because it's already programmed
Okay.
to show up on your screen
station,
if you
yeah.
have that item to
Yeah.
cook. Like pasta, they're not gonna get a salad because they don't make salads,
Mhm.
so it's never gonna show up there.
Right.
Unless they order a salad and they want maybe a side of sautéed shrimp instead
Okay.
of grilled shrimp.
Okay.
Then they make the side and bring it. They set it in the window, and then there's Expo.
Mm-hmm.
Expo is the guy that literally just checks the orders.
Mm-hmm.
Not checks them as in quality, but making sure that everything is going to come out on time.
Right.
And if someone needs something, they are able to get it. Like that side of shrimp.
Yeah.
He'll just grab it from the window and bring it down to me.
And what are they called again? What is it?
What?
Expo, you said?
Expo, yeah.
Expo.
Yeah.
Is that short for something or what?
I'm not actually sure, but we just call him the Expo.
Okay.
But we don't call him Expo.
Yeah.
We just call him by his name.
Yeah.
But his position is Expo.
Yeah. And he just
Like-
looks over the items that were requested and make sure the items that are cooked matches the
Yeah.
items that are requested.
And then I guess they have a certain way of putting it in as servers.
Mm-hmm.
So things that are going to take longer to cook, the program already knows.
Okay.
So once there's a certain time where it's the average time where that item is almost done being made, then it brings in like a salad
Okay.
to my station.
Right.
So since it's faster to make,
Right.
whenever I'm done, that other item is also done. So
Wow.
it comes out.
It
almost
is.
the
It
same.
is pretty much
Yeah.
like an odd.
But it's in a more easier and advanced way. They use it like that, but because I don't know the reason really, but I guess it's more to recognize and be aware of how long something is gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
And since they're like really good chefs,
Yeah.
they're able to do it that way
Yeah.
and are accustomed to that way.
Yeah.
Like us, I mean, I never cooked anything, so when I got there, I never really used a knife, but I learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was easier because we had that screen.
Yeah.
So things would come in, I could see the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can sell off
Yeah.
instead of having a ticket print out and then
Yeah.
giving them or yelling out, because there's a lot of people and a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So that you really can't do that.
Right.
If it's like a smaller kitchen, then yeah,
You
that's
can
easier to
communicate right next to the person next to you.
yeah, and the chef or the manager, kitchen manager is not always upfront all the
Mhm.
time. So if he wants something, you can't yell out all the way
Yeah.
across. You can try, and there's people that can, but other people that can't, or sometimes it's really noisy and he
Yeah.
really might not be
Considering
able
you
to
told
hear you.
me there are different speakers going off in the kitchen with music, right? Or no?
Oh, so yeah, but
Yeah.
that's like the back.
Okay.
So that doesn't bother us. But I mean, it's loud.
Yeah.
The plates,
The plates.
the cooking, like, and on the flat top,
Yeah.
just hitting with the spatulas and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It just metal on metal,
Yeah.
and people yelling out like they need something.
Yeah.
Where like on the fry station, I need onion strings.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I get an order, he doesn't get it on his screen. So
Mhm.
I have to tell him that I need an order of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sometimes the guy doesn't even drop them and he forgets.
Yeah.
And then I'm there like with a 20-minute check that's supposed to not take 20 minutes to make.
Yeah.
And I'm there waiting for the strings to be made. But yeah, the environment is good, and it's not like how it is on the show, really.
Okay.
Because it's I guess a different type of restaurant.
Mhm.
Or a different type of quality, or certain qualities that these chefs should know.
Right.
So, and it's a show, so
Right.
it's dramatized, and stuff like
dramatized, yeah.
that. But I mean, the basic concept of it and how the restaurant works is basically the same. You want to try and get the stuff to come out at the same time. If it's for the same table,
Mm-hmm.
you want to get it out at the same time. That way things don't get cold
Yeah.
Or as lettuces, if they stay out too long, they sort of die out.
Right.
And don't remain as a height structure. But it's a fun environment to work in. There's a lot of personalities that you meet.
No, yeah. I mean, it sounds really exciting, mainly because, I mean, I enjoy food, but I think just the atmosphere of cooking with somebody is also, it almost feels like you're a part of a team.
Yeah, it's a team. And then I really don't get help from my station. I guess they think I can do it alone. But before the pandemic, there were times where my whole screen would be full.
Yeah.
And
you're at the you're at the salad station, right?
Yeah, it would just get full, and mainly on like Saturdays or Sundays, it's the busiest days of restaurants. And the other stations would have 2 or 3, but the pizza and sandwich and salad, they would just be one person.
Yeah.
But as soon as the full screen is there, I mean, I just try my best to get everything out. But when it's full, there's usually someone that knows. But like the managers, a lot of them don't know the salad station.
Yeah.
They don't know it, and they can't really help.
Yeah.
There's a new manager that just got the position of it, and he knows that station, so he's someone that's able to help. But it's not really busy right now, so I really don't need anyone's help. But there were times when it got full, and I liked when someone would come in as my help. So either we just choose, like, do you want to start making them or finish making them?
Okay.
And when you start, you grab the mixing bowl, and then you sort of put the ingredients and then dressing, and toss them, and then plate it.
Right.
Or sometimes you would let the guy who's finishing to plate it. Yeah. And then they finish the top, because sometimes it gets more ingredients on top, and then sort of like make it beautiful, really.
Yeah, just
and increase the height. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
did you say increase the height?
Yeah. So the salad needs to be a certain height.
Okay.
And the higher it is, the better it is.
Okay.
Not taste wise,
okay,
but presentation wise.
Okay.
So you always want to get the highest possible
level.
Yeah, so it looks like a mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really fun because you're there communicating, and then sometimes an ingredient's there, and I know he needs it, so I throw it in the bowl.
Yeah.
And he's already there making.
And you guys are in unison.
Yeah. And then he says, "Oh, this is the one that is this," and he's, okay, and then I finish it off and then send it out and then sell them off.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that experience anymore, because it's not really that busy. But there's times where I like it how it is, when it's busy and then someone is able to help.
Do you have any interest in
learning other stuff?
Potentially learning how to work other stations?
Yeah, I mean, I know the pizza and sandwich station, so it's literally right behind me.
Okay. And
that's where my girlfriend works.
Yeah.
And then we usually work the same days. So
So she works the sandwich and pizza and sandwich station.
Yeah. And I'm there if I'm not busy or I see that she's getting busy. I literally just turn around and start making stuff. Or if she's in the middle of making something, I say I'm gonna finish it off.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
If she has pizzas in the oven, and then I just check them if they're ready to come out. If not, then I close in and help her get plates and stuff and start plating stuff.
Right.
And I like working that way because I don't know, sometimes you get in a state of mind where you know how things are made and you're such in a constant habit of doing it constantly. So you're just grabbing stuff and then doing it without really thinking about it as much.
Yeah, that's like me stringing a tennis racket.
Yeah.
Because I don't really get into this mindset where I'm just like necessarily like looking and paying attention too much, because once the racket is on the stringer, I know exactly how I'm going to do it and finish. So it's all a matter of time of going through the motions. Lately when I string, I can string so much now that I can just think of it going through the motions on versus just like I need to string this racket and it's taking a long time. But no, I like that the atmosphere is like that, and even more, I like that you get into this feeling where both of you have a good understanding of what page you're on and what task you're trying to accomplish, and almost looks like you're pretty much you're a team.
Yeah, and then the other stations, I trained on the grill and fry before the pandemic or quarantine started, but during the quarantine I got sent back to prep. I learned the salad prep, so
Okay.
there's the line and then there's the prep all the way in the back, and I learned how to do those ingredients, so I got sent back there, and then I forgot really everything I learned on the grill and fry.
Why?
Yeah, but the broil station is right next to me, so whenever the guy gets busy, and maybe it's like a weekday, there's certain time frames where it gets a little bit busy, but then it just slow the rest of the time. But if he gets busy, they don't really put extra guys, so there's no help if you need it.
Right.
And I just go by and then ask him, just tell me how to plate, and then I'll just finish them off for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've learned certain items from there by just asking him, or whenever he needs help, I ask him if he needs help, and then I finish him off. Like temperature wise, I'm not too confident as knowing how to cook the rares, mid rare, medium well.
Yeah, I mean it takes it takes a certain amount of attention, and also like just like timing too, because food is such an interesting process when it comes to making certain things, and that's why like every time you talk about it, I find it exciting, because I've always thought if I were gonna work at somewhere and use my hands, it would be cooking, but I really want to be like actually like cooking real good food versus like working in like a fast food restaurant, you know what I mean? I want to be able to like get my hands on certain tools that are like specialized and like work on how to use them, and either learn how to finish or prep or present and stuff like that. I think all those things have because of the way the process is, I think it's just going to be fun to learn how to do something like that.
Yeah, it's really, like I said, I had gone to the restaurant industry just to motivate myself to come back to school.
Right.
But I ended up really enjoying how it is. There's times where I kind of, and I think it's with everything, you kind of feel like maybe not going or feeling a little lazier that day, and it's sort of you sort of have this feeling where you don't want to be there, but most of the time it's really fun to be there, and really enjoyable, because I mean you're there with people that you're constantly with, and then you joke around and stuff like that. But
are there certain do you remember any certain times where people have made a special request for their salad, and you're like, you've never seen that kind of request before, something out of the ordinary? Or
there's stuff where, so it's a little more expensive there,
the salad is, or just like in general,
with every item there. And sometimes I feel that these people are probably rich and don't really care about spending this money on lettuce. But when you can go out there and grab lettuce and make it yourself, cheaper and probably a more quantity. But like the Caesar salad is a simple thing. It's just a romaine lettuce, Parmesan cheese, the croutons, and then the Caesar dressing. And then there's this, for some reason, this person orders a Caesar salad, and they don't want croutons, they don't want dressing, they don't want cheese.
What?
They just want the lettuce. Nothing else, just lettuce on a plate. I'm like, really? Why are you spending like at least $10? At least $10. Why are you spending that on just lettuce? When you can get something else, or even buy your own lettuce for like maybe $3 or $4, and just you don't even have to cut it. Just start eating it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you ordering just lettuce? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought
This is what I hate. So the salads get dressed with a
Right.
dressing,
Yeah.
but you have the option of ordering it without a dressing,
So to
which
get
is
the
called
dressing on the side.
dry.
salad.
Yeah, and dressing on the side. There's sometimes where the waiters mess up
Mm-hmm.
and they order it normal,
Okay.
and when you make it,
Mm-hmm.
they send it out, or when they look at it on the window,
Mm-hmm.
they realize that they messed up, and then they tell me that they wanted it dry.
Right.
I don't know why, but it always bothered me because I remade it without the dressing, and then they ask me for the dressing. I'm like, so it had the dressing, so why do they want the dressing? I know they want to put their own quantity.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it just bothers me that it's already dressed, but you want it not dressed, and then you want the dressing still.
So they want to dress it themselves.
Yeah, but I understand why they just want to put their own quantity.
Yeah, but I guess from your view, it's just like you're gonna eat the dressing as part of the salad. So
Yeah, it's already dressed for you, and it's not that much most of the time.
yeah.
And
Do you ever have somebody request that their salad is like drenched in dressing or no?
no,
No.
I put usually the amount it gets, or a little bit less,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mainly just to save the the ingredients, really. But sometimes there's people that order extra,
Mm-hmm.
and I give them extra, and they don't complain really about it.
Is there, would you say, a least favorite salad item that you like making over one that you like making the most? Or if
Yeah, there's certain items that I really enjoy making. There's other items that I don't enjoy making when it's busy,
mm-hmm.
but I do enjoy making when it's not busy. One of them is the vegan cob. I think I have it on my Instagram.
Vegan what?
Cob.
Cod?
Cob.
Cob?
COBB.
Okay.
And that one, it's basically like a bed of lettuce on a long elongated plate. And there's maybe like, I think 8 rows of ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it right, it turns out really good. It's like this.
Oh, that looks amazing. Dude, you know what we should do? We should have a day where we should just like cook a lot of just like explore cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried that, but I mean, I really don't have most of the stuff.
Just the equipment.
Yeah, and being at the restaurant makes it more easier to do stuff. Like,
yeah.
Here at home, I wouldn't make chilaquiles, which is just almost like a breakfast
Mm-hmm.
item for Mexicans. It's just fried tortillas, fried tortilla chips, and then you make a sauce, and you sort of bring the sauce to a boil,
Right.
and then you put the chips in, and it softens them,
Okay.
and it's also like moisturized with the sauce.
Ooh.
And then you put cheese, sour cream, and then you can add like a egg on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know if it's sunny side down or I don't know what it is, but you break it and the yolk spreads all out.
And what's it called?
Chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles.
And sometimes if you don't want the egg, you can put like a skirt, not a skirt steak. I think actually a skirt steak on top,
Mm-hmm.
and it tastes really good. And then at the restaurants they have them with the side of rice and beans, but you can just eat them just like that. But at the restaurant they have the sauces, so and they already have the fried chips.
Mm-hmm.
They make them there like with the tortillas and the fryer, and then I just do almost the same process I would see in my head that how it would be made.
Right.
And then I basically make them there whenever I feel like it. And you can do that really.
Right.
Even if you tell like the manager that comes in, and you tell them, oh, just ring in this, but I'm gonna make something, and most of the time they're fine with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can make whatever you want, really. As long as if you want like a steak, then I guess you can steal it.
Yeah.
But you really can make really anything in there because you have
just
the option
so
with
many
ingredients.
Yeah. Who do you know the other person that works your station when you're not there?
Yeah, I can see the schedule.
Have you ever worked with him or had to work with him because of the demand for both of you, or no?
No, so the salad station never demands for more than one.
Okay.
And it's really only one throughout the whole week. And even before the pandemic, it was like that because I worked it. So I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I'm the best one there.
Right. I was just gonna ask, do you feel that you have a better skill set than the other person when it comes to making these salads?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That I'm the best there. A lot of these people, they know how to make it. Sometimes they don't know all the ingredients that go there. I don't know the exact amounts, but I do know the items that it's supposed to get. Because sometimes there's certain, like even like squeezing a lime or putting salt and pepper.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do the squeezing the lime or putting salt and pepper in certain salads. Not all the salads get them, but there's some that get them, but they don't put them on. And then there's a salad that gets like 3 dressings, but they just put 1.
Oh.
So stuff like that, or these guys in the afternoon. Now that I worked, this is like the first time that I started working in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
you just notice a couple of things.
Yeah. So I wouldn't work there, but so before my shift ends, I wait for the other guy to come.
Right.
And then he does the tickets.
Yeah.
Or either restocks the station.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm the one that restocks and let him do the tickets because sometimes I get tired of it doing the tickets.
What does doing the ticket mean?
Oh, just making the meal.
Okay.
The item.
Okay.
The ticket comes up.
Okay.
You do it.
Okay.
And then you sell it off.
All right.
That's what I mean by doing the ticket.
Yeah.
And so he does the items or the tickets, and I restock, and then I see that they make these giant salads. Like, why are you making it so giant? Like these fat giant salads.
Massive?
Yeah.
So do you think he's making a massive salad that he's going to take proportions from that massive salad to make smaller salads? Or
no.
He's just making one massive
It's already plated and it's giant.
What?
So there's some days where I work in prep. There's this lady works once a week because I guess she doesn't need to work, and she's on unemployment right now, so she's enjoying that money and doesn't want to work, and always leaves early because she has to take her daughter to work when her daughter has a license and a new car. Okay. But that's just a side thing. And
it sounds like you just put her on blast.
Yeah. And then I go online because sometimes I take up stuff that people need, and I see this giant set, like the one I showed you, the vegan cup.
Yeah.
See how it's like flat?
Yeah.
It's almost like a flatbed.
Yeah.
But hers was like a giant mound like that.
Yeah.
And the stuff weren't even like laid properly. Like, see, with this.
Yeah.
It's a picture that I'm showing them, showing him on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you can't see the lettuce.
No.
You just see ingredients.
Yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
With that, you see the lettuce. It's giant. And the ingredients are all like not even close together like how it is here.
Right.
And they just make these giant salads, and I see that the portions are really bad. Like mine are almost the same or a little bit less.
Were you given like diagrams to follow, or as far as like
You just get a recipe,
or you just get the recipe? Because I mean, as far as like,
there's videos to make
okay,
on the recipes,
okay,
but sometimes I question myself, like, why are these shown and they're uglier than mine?
like, so the video you're watching to make the salad that you're trying to make, the
final
salad
product turns out shittier than what I made.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like, whatever, I guess.
Maybe they should
But
take videos
sort of like
yours.
the recipe.
Yeah.
If you follow it, you'll end up with the right amount.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times where the manager would say, I want you to, since it's slow, I want you to weigh out everything.
Okay.
And that way everything comes out. Because I know there's some people that are putting way too much lettuce, and we're wasting a lot on the lettuce, or money on the lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess because I was doing that, I got into a habit of sort of, as I grab,
Mm-hmm.
I know almost
you have
close amount.
A hand weight of you felt a hand weight of what you're trying to, how much you're trying to put into the salad.
Yeah. So when I throw in the mixing bowl, I have a habit of almost getting the right amount.
Yeah.
That I need.
Just because of how much you've just been doing it, you just know, if I grab this much and it feels this much weight in my hand, and I know that I'm going to accomplish this.
Yeah, because there's like the pans, and I just grab my hand real quick, just grab, throw, throw.
Yeah.
And then like that.
That's fun.
And my knife skills, I think, are really good. Because
good. I think knife skills are something that are like really impressive to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we use a lot of avocados,
mm-hmm.
so I cut them in half.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people grab a spoon and then scoop out. I use 2 knives. I use a black knife, which
mm-hmm.
is for cutting meat.
Yeah.
Mostly. Yeah. But sometimes I might use it with this technique I'm going to tell you. But then there's the bread knife. Mm-hmm. It's a white knife, and it's not
the teeth
sharp. It's with the teeth.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more flexible because it's long.
Okay.
So instead of using a spoon, instead of using the teeth part, I flip it.
Yeah.
And sort of go through the edge. Yeah. Like that, and then scoop it out, and it's really good.
It's really good, and you don't leave any of the avocado necessarily out in the shell.
Yeah, I don't leave any out, and instead of using a spoon, I just cut it open with the knife, flip it over, scoop it out, and then chop.
So you're just like constantly, I guess, in the beginning, even if, as you're describing now, you're going through a process where you're noticing how to use certain techniques. And were you taught those techniques, or did you start realizing that you could do it because of how consistent your hands were?
Yeah, I just tried it out one time, and I thought, like, this saves me a little bit more time of dropping the knife, grabbing a spoon, and then scooping it out, and then dropping the spoon, when I can just do this real quick and then without dropping anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's other things like you fully peel a cucumber, you cut it in half, and you know how the seeds are there.
Yeah.
A lot of people use a spoon to scoop it out.
Yeah.
And we have ladles, and the ladle has sort of like a bended tip.
Okay.
Where it hangs on the pans.
Okay.
So it doesn't fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Or drip inside the pan, inside the dressings.
Right.
And it's bended. So I bend it a little bit more, and I use it, and it comes out all easily. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you know what a mandolin is?
A mandolin?
Yeah.
I do not.
A mandolin is basically like a little machine where you adjust it to certain levels,
mm-hmm.
and you pass things through it to slice it.
And then so you can make different thickness of diced stuff, right?
Sliced
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So while I was working in prep, you have to cut peppers
mm-hmm.
and 1/4 inch.
Okay.
You cut them
precisely.
Yeah, and when I cut them, they come out really close.
Yeah.
They almost all the time. But I was trying to save a little bit more time,
mm-hmm.
so I grabbed the mandolin
mm-hmm.
and I set it to 1 1/4.
Yeah.
Which is the highest it goes. and I grab the pepper because it's already like cut and sort of extended out.
Yeah.
Like a rectangle instead of being round.
Yeah.
And I grab it
Mm-hmm.
and I just go fast
Fast,
like
really
that.
fast.
And I just don't stop. It just goes.
That's
but
funny.
I don't wear cut gloves. So you're supposed to wear cut gloves.
Yeah.
But my finesse is so good that
you
I'm just
getting
there.
Yeah, you're just there.
And as soon as I'm close to the end of the pepper,
yeah,
I slow down and
Yeah.
then be more careful so I don't cut myself.
Yeah.
There's also like carrots
Mm-hmm.
where you have to get slices of the carrots.
In your salad.
No, for prepping.
For prepping.
Yeah, for prepping an item. 1/8 of an inch,
Wow.
I think. And you can use the mandolin,
Mm-hmm.
but as I didn't think it was useful. So one guy taught me he would use a peeler
Mm-hmm.
and you would hold the carrot in your hand
Mm-hmm.
and put the peeler on top of the carrot.
Yeah.
It would be peeled and it would be round. So the top, and you just go like that with a peeler. On top, just go back and forth and it would come out really thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's like certain things that I've learned to do myself,
Mm-hmm.
or certain like things that make it easier,
Mm-hmm.
like the mandolin thing where I would use the peppers. And there's other stuff that other people would teach me and to make it easier on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's like a slicer, giant slicer,
Yeah.
where you could do onions
Yeah.
or cabbage and
Or
slice them really
tomatoes.
thin.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really don't want to get that slicer really dirty
Mm-hmm.
and have to clean it all constantly whenever I do this. So I literally just used the little mandolin and just
Sliced
set it and slice them.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is just rinse it with water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's clean really instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I have basically the same thing.
But a lot of these things that you're mentioning that you do were in things that some of them you were taught, some of them you kind of were thinking on your feet and were able to.
Yeah, I sort of
develop
analyzed
these.
and saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's a little bit better this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really similar to when I'm teaching tennis. And I think there are certain things that I started learning visually. My eyes were capturing speed and anticipation a little bit better, mainly because of when I'm working on doing a drill with somebody. And this is something that I'm gonna explain, and I don't really like think about it when I don't really talk about it, but I do it. But just like paying attention to where the person I'm gonna feed is standing. When I teach I ask people to stand on specific spots on the court to work on certain drills, just so that gives them a visual understanding of what it looks like when they hit the ball, considering where they're standing. So it's very similar in the way that you've talked about thinking on your feet and developing certain skills and analyzing certain situations. And like, I think I'm going to do it this way because I think it's going to do it a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. And those are certain things that I've noticed I've been doing since I've been teaching tennis. Obviously, I wasn't the best at it from the beginning. Not saying I was the worst at it either, but there are certain things I started picking up on, which is mainly movement and anticipating how somebody's moving to make sure that when I feed the ball doesn't just like blast right past them,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not getting there, or it's getting there late, or it's getting there too soon. All these things are in my eyes, in my head. I'm calculating it, but I don't really I'm calculating and doing these things, but I don't really talk about it unless as right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting how the mind works when you're working on something and you're trying to make it better, how you start getting into this thought process of noticing certain things that maybe you were doing that didn't work well, or start getting ideas about how to go through doing certain things and making them look better or make what you're trying to do a little bit more successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good that you've been able to do that.
Yeah.
At your job.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an enjoyable experience, mainly because I think there's a part of a person that if you're working with somebody and they approve, there's a part of me that is satisfied with the fact that what I'm working on is improving, and then at the same time, the person that I'm working with also see that they're also improving. So honestly, we're on the same page, but we're also getting somewhere every time. And I enjoy the fact that like that is the way that it is, considering what I do, because every time somebody steps on the court, there's something that they're going to improve on that they've been trying to work on. And I like that every time there's something that's going to be improving every time.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, other jobs, your success rate is probably very, I wouldn't say it moves really slow. And you don't really see the impact of what you're trying to do maybe until the end of the year. Whereas I can see improvements of what I'm working on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a different experience, a different understanding. And it also makes me realize more about how much more time I put into it, the better I get at it. I'm sure you've noticed, the more you've worked at that salad bar, you've picked up so many techniques and so many ideas in your mind to make your job a lot either easier or faster or more efficient or even more enjoyable. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, there's always stuff like that. And it helps that I'm a quick learner.
Yeah.
Because I never did anything related to
food. I mean, I always find it interesting that you work at a restaurant, because the only things I've really seen you do is school and tennis. And so, but I know that you have the skill of, you have the ability to learn a skill because you learned how to play tennis.
Yeah.
So I just didn't really, I've always tried to envision watching you work at your station and what it looks like, because I think it would be fun to just like get a bird's eye view of you just like picking up the items, weighing them, putting the stuff together. I think it would be like a good visual just to see how it works. And then you working with other people, or seeing how it works with working with other people in the kitchen and stuff like that. I mean, that whole atmosphere just sounds exciting, considering the people that you work with, you know them very well, and it seems like you all kind of get along and work together.
Yeah. Most of the time. Sometimes we just mess with each other, and it's, I guess, tease each other, because there's stuff that has happened before and we just tease them. But that's it for this episode.
Yep.
Maybe on the next episode, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but
right.
I hope you enjoyed this one, and see you on the next one.
All right. Have a good night.
I was going to say you too.
Right. What are you?